Man, Monster Hunter is such a good game series. I just wish they made a spin-off where they took away the main aspect that made Monster Hunter fun, and instead made it RPG, but instead of choosing moves, they based it off of a rock, paper, scissors mechanic.
Is that your actual wish?
Yes. How Yin's doing? Monster Hunter Stories is exactly as I described it. Capcom set out to tell a story in the Monster Hunter universe that wasn't about you killing every single monster till they were all extinct. The game starts out with a beautiful cutscene and a history lesson about these people called riders. This is where the game flips the Monster Hunter formula on its head. Instead of hunting monsters, you befriend and ride them. But the monsters still want you dead. You are out in the woods with Lilia, the village prostitute, and Cheval, the village pansy. I get a nice dose of foreshadowing when Cheval finds a darkness-infested plant. But who cares, I got an egg to find and a character to make. A baby Rathalos hatches and immediately befriends me, so I take it back to our home, Hakun Village. Famous for its magically appearing people and being the home of the riders. The village elder decides to not punish us, and in doing so, causes a Nargacuga to attack the village. The Nargacuga has a dark cloud surrounding it that makes it more aggressive, causing it to kill Cheval's mother, promoting him from village Pansy to village Sasuke, and kills the baby Rathalos. 1 year later, I have to perform the rite of kinship in order to become a rider. The rite of kinship involves me getting a kinship stone, a feline, and a blue Jaggy as my monstie. However, I need to wash the stone, and I get my first taste of the battle system. Every time you attack, you have 3 choices: power, technical, and speed. Naturally, it works like rock, paper, scissors. The good thing about this game is that the monsters tend to stick to a certain move, so you can easily read them. Do enough reading and you gain kinship, where you can ride your monster in battle. Do even more reading to get your kinship to level 3 and perform the monster's special move that deals a lot of damage. For a surprisingly simple battle mechanic, some of the boss fights can get intense. I finish the rite and get jumped by the same Nargacuga from the year prior. After kicking its ass, I still have to do stuff to prove that I'm a competent rider. We learn about monster dens, which are dens you can enter to find more eggs to hatch to get more monsters so you can go into more dens. It's a pyramid scheme! I learned that we are essentially the vegans of the Monster Hunter world, with the rider's code stating, no rider is allowed to leave this village because the hunters think our lifestyle is a joke and something about meat being murdered. I got my first job as a rider, which is to go to the forest to kill a wild Azuras called the Glutton. I find and kill the Glutton and find out that the black grass has spread out to the forest. Before I could do anything, this mysterious woman yells at me and tells me to make like a tree and go. Cheval tells me that the thing infecting the grass is called the Black Blight, and that it infects monsters. He says more edgy stuff and runs away, so I guess I have to chase after him. I get there just in time to watch Lilia get absolutely murdered by an Iodrome. I save her life, and the mysterious woman cleans her of the poison that she didn't have. Turns out she's a part of the Scriveners, and they've been studying this Black Blight. Lilia joins the Scriveners, and I kill Dan. There's a wild Yankutku called the Veteran, and after killing him, I gained the ability to fast travel. Yeah. Word around the village says that the Black Blight is located just outside the forest, so I broke the rider's code and went there to solve the issue. But I didn't expect to get jumped by the Nargacuga again. Killing him for real this time, I cleanse the Black Blight with the kinship stone somehow, and the chief allows me to go out and save the world of the Black Blight. We go to the next area, Dard Snowfield, which just looks like Pennsylvania during any time of the year.
Why is it always snowing?
In the tunnels, we find this wounded girl named Aviana, who is also a vegan rider. I saved her life and tried to do the rite of channeling, but in order to do that, I have to answer this guy's riddle.
Now my ears are pointy, my belly rounded. What am I?
It's a Sam Trio! Damn it. I then performed the rite of channeling. Basically, you sacrifice one monster in order to strengthen another, but you have to make sure the DNA matches up. Bonus points if it's the same color and in a row. But with this, Bugs Bunny turns into a dead meme. I make it to Guildgarain, home of the hunters who were nothing but mean to me. The guildmaster lets us live in exchange for doing tasks for him. I meet the best hunter in the world, Roberto, who does nothing but smoke mushrooms. Roberto wants me to get his drugs, but of course I get ambushed by a giant spider. Roberto teaches me that hunters also have feelings for monsters, in order to try to thicken the plot. It doesn't work. Captain Simone comes back into my life to tell me that the city of Albarax is getting destroyed by quicksand because of the Black Blight. I meet up with the people of Osum, who tell me to track down the monster causing the quicksand, which is obviously the blighted Cephadrome. Before I can actually take care of business, I get interrupted by these Jagoffs and their attempt at an equal dragon weapon?
You fools! You've messed with the natural order!
To prove that vegans are better than these vegetarians, I killed the blighted Cephadrome and killed the Baroth EX. Killing a blighted Diabolos allowed me to single-handedly rebuild this village and get called the true rider. I'm reunited with Lilia and Ratha from oh so long ago. I thought you were dead! I went to Geofolkrite to stop the doctor from doing something. A boulder is blocking the main entrance, so I go in the back way, where I find a boulder blocking the pathway. So I go get gunpowder, but I find a boulder blocking the pathway. Turns out it's not just a boulder. It's a rock! Killing this rock allows me to go to the doctor's lab where what the f is this? Who the f are you? They attempted to put a B-plot into this game, where Naviru and 6 other Palicos were experimented on by the doctor, giving all of them special powers. So I fight Actinactor EX and die.
I lost. I lost? Wait a minute, I'm not supposed to lose. Let me see the script.
I killed the monsters and escaped with the Palicos. I go to Koani Village, also known as Crazy Cat Lady Island. The love interest Pansy gets kidnapped, and while trying to save her, I died.
I lost.
After saving Pansy, I get an emergency letter from Lilia who tells me of the legend of Radan. Radan was a hunter-turned-vegan who befriended a white dragon and defeated the Black Blight. Hoping that shit can work again, I go find a white dragon egg. This is going to be a difficult challenge, but oh shit, there it is. Oh, you gotta be shitting me! I thought you were dead! The Scriveners decided that the best course of action is to purify the remaining kinship ores. I purified the first kinship ore and the doctor got Shovel to do drugs, promoting him from Sasuke to Sasuke Shippuden. At Koani Village, I was forced to play detective just to get the ore back. That was kinda stupid. I hope the kinship ore in the jungle is a lot easier. What the f is that? The last kinship stone is in the ruins of Zalam, where the Black Blight was born. We get to the gates where Shovel forms a bond with the White Dragon, the Versa Pichu. Too bad he's still weak as fuck. The Versa Pichu becomes blighted, Shovel dies, and it's up to me to finally stop the Black Blight. I have to go through a boss rush type of deal, starting with a Stygian Zynogar, which was easy. A blighted Brachydios. Yeah, I'm not doing that. This looks like an alternative path. So I struggled to kill the Brachydios, and I just hope they give me something easier to fight. Shovel learns the value of friendship and becomes normal once again, but no one cares about him because I made it to the final boss of the game, Mikli Pichu, who decided to blight my Rathalos, destroy my kinship stone, and made me use a voice line for the first time in the game. And somehow, I was still able to kill this monster. First try too. Ratha became so powerful it emitted light, thus completing the prophecy and curing the world of the Black Blight. I say my goodbyes to everyone, including Radan, whose soul was in the kinship stone somehow, and that's the end of the game. Overall, it was a lot better than what I was expecting. I feel like it's because of how it relates to Monster Hunter. In Monster Hunter, the whole point is that it's a bunch of boss battles, and somehow, Capcom translated that into an RPG beautifully. You're not really going to be fighting small monsters. You're just going to be fighting big monsters. But every fight feels challenging. I think this is because of the rock, paper, scissors mechanic that adds a level of strategy that most RPGs don't have. You need to learn every monster's attack pattern, just like in a real Monster Hunter game. But the monsters can still kill you in one hit. Then there are other factors that go into play, like special moves. And whether or not your monster can figure out that the enemy only does power attack, why are you choosing technical? It is so much fun to have monsters as your best friend, and to be able to ride and interact with them, instead of killing them as you always did. Surprise, surprise, the story in Monster Hunter Stories is good! I do feel as though it was poorly paced out. Like 10 hours in, you finally meet hunters, 20 hours in, you finally start doing the main objective of the game, and the next thing you you know, the game is over. The characters are nice, but you don't really get to know them except for Lilia and Cheval. The game is about you and your monstie. This being said, you should play an actual Monster Hunter game before playing this. I feel like it gives you a greater understanding as to what a Monster Hunter is supposed to be, and be able to understand how powerful these monsters are. I would recommend Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, as they share a lot of monsters and Monster Hunter stories, and they're easier than most Monster Hunter games. This is a surprisingly good game, and you should play it if you are a Monster Hunter fan.
So, do you think Stories is better than a mainline Monster Hunter game?
No.